Alright. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Minecraft. This is supposed to be a weekly series, and it's been like a week and a half since I last did anything. In this. Like, since I last, streamed / recorded, this here. And the main reason for that, obviously, is the Genshin Impact, which, for people who are just watching the VOD, it may not be so obvious. Because I think I'm still, way behind in posting, Genshin Impact stuff. So... Alright. I'll worry about, an actual carrot farm, at a later point. Again, I am going to still build that, world height, farm at some point. Probably not right now. It's because I have other things that I want to do. But we will get to that point at some point. I believe last episode we more or less finished off the sheep. I know we were short on some of the colors. Like, we need to go to, a jungle biome and a desert biome to get all the colors. Which, of course, as I showed before, I do have a program for, finding where to go. Let me... Because now that I remember that, I'm like, oh wait, I need to actually, do that. I need to actually, load that up, So that I can, do... Yeah, just use that, that's fine. Hang on. Sorry, having issues getting the program to actually run latest version. Here it is. I'm like, I needed the latest version of the game. Where's the latest version of the game? There we go. So... Assuming this is working... There we go. So this is where we are at. And we needed to find a jungle biome and a desert biome. And if I do those, Select none. How do I tell it to show me where these things are? I remember I did this last time. I don't remember how this works. Well, there's a desert up here, it says. I believe that the jungle was somewhere over here, if I remember right. They're both like 3,000 blocks or something like that. There's a desert. I think this is the desert that we were initially looking at. There's Taiga Hills. Oh, okay. Desert. Okay. Now it's doing the thing. If I just wasn't looking in the right place then. For the jungle. Here's a desert. Yeah, okay. There's a jungle down there. So, to the west, we've got to go roughly about 3,000 blocks. The jungle looks like it's roughly I don't know, what is that? Another 3,000 blocks, 4,000 blocks to the south. So what we're going to do is I just put myself back into survival mode when I was literally already in survival mode. Ow. I'm going to create game mode creative. There we go. I had to actually be in creative mode to place these down, I guess. I was going to put a couple of these command blocks over here real quick. Like so. Buttons. And then a couple of signs. This one is going to say desert. And this one is going to say jungle. And we haven't gone to, as I have admitted, we haven't gone to either of them. So both these command blocks are empty right now. But the idea is that I'm setting up those command blocks. And when we get to the jungle or the desert, or both, probably both, what I will do is I will set up another command block there to teleport us back. And then we'll just utilize a waypoint / teleporter system to get back and forth between the jungle and the desert. And obviously the base. Just because they're so far away. I know somebody's probably thinking well, just use a, freaking nether portal thing. And it's yes, but we don't have access to nether portals at the moment. So it's not like I can just, make nether portals right now. And even then, I would need to do the calculations to figure out, where do I need to, go to in the nether to do the thing, and, that sort of stuff. And I'm not gonna mess with that right now. So, I've seen multiple, YouTubers and stuff do a command block system anyway, so I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. I shall do as I do. We've got more than enough food. Our armor is in pretty bad shape. So let's make another set of new armor before we go. I do already have the chest plate, as you may have seen just a moment ago. I'm going to make... Right. That's a modded thing, where stuff stays in the crafting table. I wish it was not a modded thing, but it is what it is, I guess. Let me grab some stuff here. Some things. And we're going to sleep through the night. Grabbing some stuff and some things, as they say. And, so it was basically, what, just straight west? Towards the negative X. I don't know what we'll find. I would bring a horse, but obviously we have no saddle. If we had a saddle, I would bring horse. Or I would take horse. But no saddle, so no horse, unfortunately. So, we'll just have to make our way. And see what happens. That said, the journey will give us a chance to discuss things. Such as, what I assumed was just never going to come. If you guys remember me mentioning before that, you know, I didn't think there would be a cave update, because a cave update means they'd have to go in and do more than just, you know, updating caves, right? It's like, you know, you make caves bigger or smaller, and that's neat, I guess, but like that still doesn't give you reason to mine. You know, you've got to add new materials, you know, gotta add, you know, new things to mine and stuff to do under, you know, the earth. And then Minecon Live happened. And I mean, they definitely gave us some slight reason to return to the underground. So this might sound bad, just because of, like, what I'm gonna say. Because I'm gonna look at this in a completely different viewpoint from what I have seen just about every other YouTuber, streamer, etc. Like, responding in this case. Like, all of them are like, oh, you know, we're getting these giant mountains, or we're getting these new caves, and stuff like that, and I'm going, it sounds nice, but I haven't found the reason yet. You know? Okay, you know, so there's this new cave type, and they did confirm there's going to be a lot of new cave types, by the way. Like new cave biomes, which is awesome. Like that's something that I think is going to be a good thing, is having cave biomes. But that said, you know, it's like, here's how I've been looking at this cave update. And, you know, it's October 10th right now. So, you know, I've had over a week to kind of think about this, you know. Like, here's sort of how I'm thinking about this. And it's, so we're getting cave biomes. Cool. You know, cave biomes are a neat idea. I have absolutely zero issues with the idea of cave biomes being a thing. In fact, I'm all for cave biomes being a thing. I think that is definitely one of the things they can do to make caves more interesting, is make biomes. However, and this is the thing I haven't heard anybody talk about yet, and that is that at the core of Minecraft, the thing that makes caves boring to explore is that you go into a cave looking for coal and iron so that you can get diamonds. And then you go down into a cave once you have irons, but then you go down into a cave once you have iron so that you can mine diamonds. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're not adding copper tools, they're just adding copper. They're not changing Minecraft's progression at all. And I mean, that's it. Again, I'm all for these new biomes. Don't get me wrong. I heard oh, these lush caves and this thing and that thing, and I'm going, this sounds cool. And when the snapshots come out, I will definitely start playing them. In fact, I'll probably update this world to those snapshots. And start, messing around with them and seeing how it is, I'm not going to say that it's good before I've had a chance to play it, but I'm not going to say it's bad before I've had a chance to play it. For me, it's merely a question, if that makes sense. For me, it's a question of what is the point of these new cave biomes? Okay, so we currently go underground. Don't mind if I grab some of this real fast since I'm right here. We currently go underground, as I said, to get iron and diamonds and stuff like that. And it's oh yeah, we're adding copper. Okay. The complaint that I have with copper is that it's not adding anything to the game. They said, oh look, here's this telescope you can make. Okay, so I'm sure there's more you can make, but the telescope is made with the copper and the crystal, which at the moment is all they've said that either is used for. And, I'm sure that there will be more, right? I'm certain that there will be more. Also, I forgot to mark where the base is. Probably somewhere around 70, maybe 80. It's basically 0, so I forgot to look before I started venturing. And I just realized that. But so we're gonna go into these new biomes. so that we can get copper and gems. The two things that they have stated that they're implementing thus far. They did say more is coming. And if that holds true, that there is supposedly a lot more coming, then this could be good. But aside from, I'm going underground and I find this lush cave, okay? And in this lush cave, there's like special, grass and things like that. Cool. It looks nice. But what purpose will it serve? Like that's where I'm currently looking at this cave update. And they have almost a full year to get this right. So I'm expecting that it's going to end up being good in the end. However, unlike everybody who the moment they said Caves and Cliffs update, and everybody jumped up in their seats, shouting, cheering for joy, exclaiming, "This is the best thing Minecraft has ever done." I'm just curious. I'm left with more questions than I am answers, and that makes me not as excited. You can go down into the earth and you can mine this new copper, and the copper can be used for the telescope, the thing that you're never gonna need. You can also use this, you can also take the telescope and use it for, or you can also go down and get these crystals. And my complaint with the crystals is that you can't pick them up and take them anywhere. And that was their big selling point on the crystals, if you want to think about it like that. It's like their whole thing with the crystals was like, oh, you're gonna find these geode biomes where you find these amethyst clusters, and they grow there, but you can't take they only grow on the amethyst cluster block, but you can't mine that block. It's you can't get the block. It's even with Silk Touch you can't get it, kind of like mob spawners. I imagine that just like mob spawners got modded so that Silk Touch can be done, that's what's gonna happen here. Is somebody's gonna be like, okay, but I don't like this, and then they're just gonna mod that out. Which is fine, but I feel like that happens too often with Minecraft, where Mojang is like, we have this great idea, but... And then people are like, okay, you don't need the but, though. You have this great idea that you now ruined because you added the but. It's like, you added these, crystal, amethyst, geode things, but they can't be mined. Only the crystals can be mined. You mine the crystals, and then you constantly have to come back for more, which is counterintuitive. Constantly needing to, return to another place to get a crafting material. Which tells me that these crystal clusters probably aren't going to be used in very much. Which I find funny that I say that, because that's the exact opposite of what somebody else, another YouTuber I watched, said. They're like, yeah, this tells me that, we're constantly going to be coming back to them. I'm going, if we're going to constantly be needing to come back to craft something out of them, then we're going to need to be able to, take them with us. Which means that either A, it's going to become obnoxious because we're constantly having to run back to these crystals, which, by the way, unlike a mob spawner where it spawns more mobs when you're nearby, the way that plants and growable objects and things like that work is that they don't do anything when the chunk isn't loaded. So, if you're constantly needing to come back to get your hands on these materials, the biggest issue there is literally that aspect. Because they won't grow when the chunks aren't loaded. Which means that you're going to have to just sit there and wait for them to grow if you need plenty of them. Because you can't take them to your base where you spend most of your time and thus keep the chunks loaded. Instead, you're going to be constantly running back to get these hi Enderman. You're constantly going to be running back to get these amethysts, and then you're going to have to just sit there and wait for them to grow, because they're not going to grow when the chunk isn't loaded. And a lot of people are saying that this is a good feature, and I'm going, no, it's not. And I can point to exactly why, as I just did. I constantly have to be in those chunks. A mob spawner, that works perfectly fine. Because they're constantly spawning, they're constantly doing their job. They're not being in that chunk. The mobs chunk not being loaded prevents it from spawning more mobs and thus lagging out your game. And that idea works for something like a mob spawner. It doesn't work for what I can essentially call a plant that you're growing. Because I guess, again, you're basically growing these things, right? It doesn't work for something that you have to stay in that chunk for. Unless the amethysts, the gems, whatever they are going to even grow when the chunks aren't loaded, which would honestly require a rewrite of the chunk system, so I doubt that's going to happen. This just seems like a terrible idea, in my opinion. I don't see the use in... it would be like if I couldn't take wheat with me. I need wheat for food. But when I find wheat, I can pick it up, but I can't make farmland. So therefore, I have to have an area where my farmland is that's nowhere near my base, and therefore isn't going to be chunk loaded most of the time. That's the equivalent of these amethysts that I'm seeing in this cave update. I'm going... it would work if it wasn't something that grew. You know, if it was a mob spawner or something. You know, the mob spawners not, you know, being silk touchable is fine with me. But a plant, something that I need to grow, not being something I can take with me, I'm not too keen on. Just gonna be honest. Let's see, what else did they announce in the cave update? Obviously they announced the Warden, which looks like an interesting mob. I'm hoping that when they were showing the Warden, that whoever, you know, the person that was playing that was playing on hard mode, because full netherite gear is what he had on. Like, they said at the thing that he was wearing full netherite gear. And he got hit twice and died. And I'm like, that's a little strong. You know? Full, like, it almost makes netherite gear useless. It unbalances the game. And unfortunately, the game has been unbalanced for a very long time. Like, with, you know, diamond gear is already ridiculously OP. There's just nothing in Minecraft that can, like, take you down at the moment once you have full diamond gear. And then they added netherite gear. They added the Ravager, and it was like, oh, here's something that actually can take you down, even with, like, full diamond gear, but that's only in raids. Which, excuse me, I guess is which I guess is fine. But that still only leaves it available in raids. And this only works in the Java edition because of the slow combat. I've watched a number of people that have played Bedrock, including having played it myself. The Ravager in Bedrock, where you don't have the combat cooldown, is so easy to kill that it's almost stupid. And say what you will about the combat update, I felt like it was a good balancer, a good equalizer. It made it so that, you know, if you just sat there and, you know, swung like this, instead of, you know, timing your attacks and, you know, playing properly, then it made the game harder. And I get that a lot of people didn't like that because it meant that they had to practice, and yeah, I don't want to use the term get good, as some people do, but it was a certain, like, skill level, you know? It does require a certain skill level, and it means, though, that even, like, zombies and things like that still have some minor level of challenge that they can give you. Oops, I'm drowning. If you're not playing the game right. And I guess I don't see too much of an issue with that. It really is a... you have to play the game right. But I never really... and maybe it's just me, but I never really felt like it was a crutch, you know? I never felt like, oh, this mechanic makes it difficult, you know? It's something that you very easily, at least I feel like, and maybe this isn't true for some people, but I felt like it was always something that was very easy to learn. When it came out first in 1.9, there was a big issue where it was not intuitive because, you didn't have the crosshair that tells you, hey, this is when you can attack. For when you're still new to it and still trying to learn. But I felt like once you started to learn, combat, it became second nature to the point where, honestly, I tried to go back and play 1.7, and I felt, weird. I felt like the combat in that was so weird because, you didn't have that combat from 1.9 anymore. And I don't know if maybe, a lot of the people that complain about it are just upset because it made the game difficult. Or if there maybe is a legitimate argument to be made. I feel like a lot of times something new comes out that changes the gameplay that a lot of people get annoyed. Oh, they've changed my game. But if you actually just sit down and, play, Oh god, I've got to go up to negative 700 to get around this. Or I can just swim forward for the same amount of blocks. I'm just going to go up and around. Just because I don't have I have a lot of wood. Could just make a boat, I suppose. Now that I think about it. But maybe it's just me. But in my experiences, I have had the, I don't like this. This is new. This is weird. But then you do it for, a few days and you don't even think about it anymore. And I don't want to say that that's what Minecraft players are doing, where they're like, I don't like this. This is a new change and I don't like it, But I feel like that really is. It just feels like once you have actually sat down and played with the combat update, you just get used to it. And then you don't have an issue anymore. Again, this is all personal opinion. So I'm not trying to say oh, well, this is definitely, the way it is. But I kind of feel like that is to some degree just because, again, a lot of people do complain about something in the game being changed. They don't like it because it's new, not because it's actually good or bad. And then it's that's just what they feel about it. It's I don't like this because it's new. I just feel like that might be what's going on right now, with the combat update. And you say, well, the combat update's been out for how long now? That can't possibly be it. And to that I say, it could very well still be, because the combat update split Minecraft into two. The player base into two. And then, of course, there's Minecraft Bedrock, which then splits the player base again. But in Bedrock, they never updated to the combat update. Meanwhile, in regular Minecraft, you've got the people that are still back playing in that 1.8 or before. There are people... Oh, there's a village here. There are people that are still today playing and making mods for Minecraft 1.7. just because they refuse to update to a newer version because they don't like the combat update. And again, while I'm not trying to belittle them, like, part of me is like, hey, you know, if you actually just sat down and did it, you know, you would find that it's not as bad as you think. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe somebody can explain a little better what they think is so bad about the combat update. Like, that's my issue, I guess, is that I just didn't have any issues with it, really. I really just didn't. There just didn't really seem like there was anything wrong with it. It's like, oh yeah, you have to swing slowly because, you know, it's a new type of combat, you know? But it feels like people have taken that and been like, well, that's what's wrong with it, is it's a new kind of combat, and I don't like that. And I'm like, okay, but there's always going to be new things. To get back on topic, though, with the cave update, I just, and this isn't me being like, oh, it's new, I don't like it. I'm just concerned. First off, that they let us vote for a new mob, and a YouTuber took the mob, said a whole bunch of things that wasn't true about the mob, and then a whole bunch of people voted as if that was true about the mob, even though it wasn't. You know, the glow squid, of course, is what I'm talking about. And now people are going to be upset when they play the game, not because anything Minecraft did, but because they voted for something that was not what they, you know, that was not and is not what they thought it was. And I feel like that's really going to be a problem. Once the, you know, glow squid comes out, people are going to be like, oh, this thing's terrible, you know? And it's like, I don't know. I worry about that. I worry about, you know, what's going to happen with the glow squid. Because people were uninformed. Even, like, Mojang themselves, like, tried to, like, get us to vote for something other than the glow squid. When the glow squid won against a vote of 3, Mojang posted on Twitter like, oh, the Moo Bloom is out. Now vote between the Isolager and the glow squid. Which is, like, that's something they've never done before. Once the vote's done, it's done. Normally. But in this case, that wasn't, like, this wasn't the case. They were like, hey, we really don't want this, because it's stupid. We know that a lot of you voted for it because of something that it's not, that, you know, that it's not. So maybe you might want to change your vote before we implement it. And then people still voted for it. And it's like, I worry because it's a big, like, this is the biggest update ever to Minecraft, is they're doing this major update with caves. This is going to be the single biggest update that they have ever put out. And I'm just concerned that it's not going to be what everybody thinks. If it is, by all means, like, I will be ecstatic. Don't get me wrong. I really will be. Like, if it turns out to be this amazing update, I will be absolutely floored and ecstatic. And I will be one of the first people that's like, hey, I was wrong. This update's pretty cool. You know, like, dude, you know, it's actually pretty cool. I definitely didn't expect it to be, you know, pretty cool. You know, I mean, just listen to me. I'm like the most pessimistic about this update out of, like, I think just about anybody that's looking at this update right now. But that's because I feel like when the aquatic update came out, okay, everybody was so excited because, oh, the ocean is getting this big update, you know, we're getting all these new oceanic things and yada yada, and everybody was so excited about it because it was all the, like, it seemed like it was going to bring all this cool stuff. And then we realized that it only brought a couple of things that were actually good. You know, tridents are cool, but they're not amazing. You know, some of the new mobs are not great. And just overall, it just wasn't as good as we thought it was. Because by the time, you know, the aquatic update had a long snapshot period. And by the time we got through the snapshots, we had done everything there was to do. Because even though the update was so big, it was just the oceans. And I'm worried that that's what's going to happen here. Is it's going to be like, hey, big cave update. You know, we're making caves do all these cool things. And people are going to be like, hey, that's great. I can't wait to see the caves do all these things. And then they're going to be one-time things, you know. You go into the lush cave. And you might get a material that you can use to craft something, but what are you going to craft? And I said this last time I talked about the cave update, when I said, you know, what is a cave update? You know, when you think of a cave update, it's not just making more caves, making bigger caves, making cave biomes. These are great, but they don't do anything. And that's what they've shown off so far. And so that's why I'm a little pessimistic, is because literally everything I said about what a cave update was in fact there. But these don't do anything. They don't make a new update. You know, they don't change the game. They don't add, you know, they're adding copper, but there's no copper tools. The copper is used for the telescope, and the copper can be used on your houses. But how many people are actually going to go and mine enough copper to build roofs of copper? It's something that I can see being great in creative mode. You know? Also on the aspect of copper, I know that they did mention that there is going to be a way to prevent the oxidization. And if they had not stated that, that would be something I would be mentioning right now. It's like, copper's great, but there's the oxidization problem, you know? Like, what if you just want a copper block? What if you don't want a green block? What if you're like me and you are literally adverse to the color green in just any way, shape, or possible, you know? Like, you despise the color green like I do. Like, copper has no appeal in that case. Now, the nice copper orange, sure. But that green that it becomes, I'm not into. But again, they did mention that yes, there will be a way to prevent the oxidization, and in my opinion, that's enough. Like, that's all I need to be told to be okay with the copper, because that would literally be my complaint about the copper. It's like, it's nice, but is there a way to not, is there a way to not oxidize? Yes, okay. It is possible to do things with this copper. Okay, that's what I need to know, Like, if I just want the copper block, I need to be able to do something with the copper block. So, and yes, that is possible. It is possible to have the copper and have it just be that color. It's great. No complaints there. Go creative. Give me a command block. You'll put that block here. And our coordinates are at -3218, 63, -201. Make a button and a sign, and the sign can say back to base. Put the button, and we do /tp at p with the coordinates of 080. That is much farther from my base than I assumed it was. Let me find the base. Hey, there's a broken nether portal over there. Alright. 115 by -60. So maybe somewhere in this direction. I was looking at the spawn point on Amidst here. This looks like a cleared out area. Yes, it is. Alright. Alright, so the desert. So the coordinates here are 165, 72, -179. TP at P to these coordinates. Yep, that puts me here, and then there. Got it. Alright. Well, that's one block over, but that's alright. /game mode survival. Alright. So now we have a way to and from the desert. Easy. So that's awesome. Let's put our cacti over here. I have some sand. Let's put them right in between the trees. Why not? I don't think we'll end up needing anywhere near the amount of cacti as I'm planting, but who cares? There we go. Cactus. Alright. That helps. Very nice. we did pick up a smoker while we were out at the village. Like, look at this. Like, I've been gone for like an hour, and look at how little the sugarcane has grown. That's because the chunks weren't loaded. Like, that's what concerns me about the whole amethyst thing. It's like, okay, but... like, it's not going to grow if the chunks aren't loaded. And that's the issue that I'm immediately seeing with the amethyst. The way that Mojang is, claiming. Again, if they can figure out a method of making it work, sure. I'm just looking at it in the aspect of how Minecraft itself currently works. And I'm not seeing this working the way they think it's going to. Like I said, the mob spawners, because they use the mob spawners as an example. They're like, you can't silk touch a mob spawner. If you need mobs from the mob spawner, you just got to keep coming back. It's like, yes, but that's also a mob spawner where being there is what is needed. You're going to have to be there in order to grow these amethysts, because you can't take them with you and grow them. And that's going to be a problem when it comes time to, because you need it to, you need these to grow. It's like you're going to end up just standing there and waiting. As they grow similar to this stuff, it's like, here, a farm works because while I'm here at my base and I'm farming, there's other stuff that I'm doing. I'm building. I've got all these. I've done this tree farm. I've just placed on these cactus. I'm sorting my inventory. I'm, breeding cows. I'm building some massive structure. That works because you're here at that place doing other things. A mob spawner, you go to, you get levels, and then you leave. The way they're talking about the amethyst or the crystal or whatever it was called, it's you go there, you get it, you leave. You're not going to sit there at that cluster and do a whole bunch of stuff to keep those chunks loaded so that you can do things so that they will continue to grow. And it's, I don't know. Again, we'll have to see what happens. I'm not sitting here trying to, say, oh, this is going to be bad before it's even come out. These are just the concerns that I have. And the biggest reason I have those concerns is because I haven't seen them addressed by anybody. Everybody just seems to be excited immediately about this update and going, but think about this. And nobody that I have talked to has thought about any of what I have just said. What is copper going to be used for? Until there's a use for it, I don't know that I'm going to be happy that copper's in the game. What are the amethysts going to be used for? Until there's a use, I don't know that I'm going to be happy about these things that they've announced being in the game until I know that they're actually going to be something. And if they're not going to be something, then what was the point in adding them, And somebody asked a question, well, they're adding all this stuff. Aren't you concerned that they're, going to add too many blocks? And it's like, this is the thing, you know? Like, one of the reasons I didn't really care about about this version, 1.16, with this Nether update was, what did the Nether update do? It added biomes. It did add the hoglins and the piglins and the bastions, and those were great. But what does it do? You know? And that's what that's what I looked at with the ocean update, the aquatic update. That's what I'm looked at with the Nether update. It's what I looked at with the bees update. What does it do? If it doesn't do anything, then I'm not really sure that they really added anything to the game. If progression is still, I'm going to go down into the mine, and I'm going to search for iron. And then once I have iron, I'm going to go down into the mine, and I'm going to find diamonds. And then once I get diamonds, then I'm going to find obsidian to go to the Nether. And then once I go down and I find obsidian and I go to the Nether, then I'm going to get netherite. As long as that is the progression, and there's nothing to do with any of this other materials, I don't know that there's anything there. You know? I like all of these, like, electric, all these mods that add, like, electricity and red power and blue power and, like the Project Reds and the Thermal Foundation and, Project Red. Things like that, because they do something. The mystical agriculture. There's always something that these things do to enhance the game, to enhance the gameplay. I like metallurgy because it adds so much in the way of metals and materials and progression. I like pyrotech because it basically says, vanilla progression is crap, let's make it good, And these are the things I enjoy when mods do, when they add in. And I've just not been excited for really any official Minecraft update because A, it breaks mods, which is something that I really think Mojang needs to sit down and do. Like 1.18 needs to be the mod update, if you will. 1.18, they need to go in and say, here's the modding API. You can make mods for Minecraft now without needing Forge. And when we update to 1.19, it won't automatically kill all of your mods, That's what we need. We need an official, mod API so that we can continue to make these things without without the game just breaking everything. But despite the fact that Mojang has been talking about that for as long as they have, for some odd reason, that doesn't seem to be something that they're even remotely interested in doing. And that's another issue I have. It's like, this is something that needs to be done. This is something that needs to be fixed. But it's just not something that is even remotely being worked on, let alone fixed. And if it's just not possible to do, let us know. Look, unfortunately, when we update Minecraft, it's always going to break mods. There's nothing we can do. Fine. At that point, I would not complain anymore. Because, I get it. And it makes sense that would be the way that it is. Maybe they just can't create a modding API because every time they update Minecraft, they change some fundamental aspect. And because they do that, it means that your mods are broken. Fine, I get that. But like, you know, we need something, you know? Like, not to complain about Minecraft Forge, but the last, like, their rewrite that they did for 1.13 and above is, like, I don't even know. Like, I think like, it's been so long since I've even looked at those versions of Minecraft Forge, because they changed Minecraft Forge so much that so many mods just haven't updated. And now there's the whole Forge and Fabric, like, split. So you can't even, like, just download mods anymore. It's like, oh, is this a Fabric mod or a Forge mod? It's like, this needs to be the current focus. You know, we need to get this problem fixed. You know, we need to have some way of just having a modding API. Fine. If it even if it's like Minecraft Forge, where yes, every time you update Minecraft, it breaks the mods. I'm okay with that. So long as we're not currently fighting over whether it's Minecraft Forge or Minecraft Fabric that you need to use for your mods. Like, Forge team, Fabric team, one of you two, get your stuff together and make your system compatible with the other. You know, Forge and another mod loader called Light Loader used to exist together. They used to run perfectly fine together. There's absolutely no reason why you couldn't run them both together. And it's like Fabric, please. You know? Like, get it together, get it fixed. You know, make, you know, you two, Fabric and Forge, are the two methods of modding Minecraft. Figure out a way that you can come together, or tell Mojang, this is the next update, you're doing it, that's that. Like, because we need a single system for mods. You know? Or another one that could do is if instead of Forge and Fabric getting their stuff together and like figuring out how to like make them work together, CurseForge, Twitch Launcher, whichever one of you it is that like runs the whole, you know, API and stuff for downloading mods, create a way to split Fabric and Forge so that when you're searching on the Twitch launcher, it only brings up one or the other. And that's another thing that ticks me off about the whole modded situation is you get on to play, to download mods. Twitch Launcher only accepts Forge as a mod loader. So it just shouldn't include Fabric downloads. Because the Fabric API isn't on the Twitch Launcher. So it just shouldn't include Fabric downloads. Yet there's no way to distinguish between the two. And somebody I know said, well, you know, there's the thing for searching for Fabric mods. There is a thing that you can select to search for Fabric mods. there's no way to select not to search for Fabric mods. It's either both or Fabric. There is no option to tell it, hey, find me Forge mods. And that's what bugs me the most. This rant has become less about, Minecraft, Mojang creating a system and more about them fixing their stuff. I'm saying that because of the fact that, honestly, I'm not expecting Mojang to ever do a modding API. You would think by now they would, considering how important that is to Minecraft, modding. But they have not. And in my opinion, that's a bad idea, just in general. But if they're never going to do it, then we, the community, who have created this big modding scene, need to sit down and create a system to make the modding scene work and be simple enough. That was the whole idea behind CurseForge when it started, was you could just go on to CurseForge, you could download your mod straight from there. If there was a dependency you needed, it downloaded that dependency for you. And it was simple, and it was good, and it worked. And then Minecraft Forge for 1.13 said, oh, we're going to wait because we're rewriting the code just completely for Forge. And we all said, okay. And so somebody else came in and just created a system. And thus Fabric. And it took almost up until the release of 1.14 before Forge even released for 1.13. Which was ridiculous, by the way. But because it took them so long, Fabric ended up becoming a thing. But because CurseForge or Twitch or whatever it is so dead set on Forge, they never created a system to separate Fabric and Forge. And they still haven't, despite the fact that most of the mods nowadays are going to Fabric, which is fine, by the way. I have no problems with this. But most of the mods like Botania and things like that, I've noticed have been going to Fabric because Fabric is able to put out an update for their, mod loader, launcher, etc. like a couple of days after a snapshot is released. Meanwhile, Forge takes up to like a month after an official version of Minecraft comes out before they get a new version of Forge out. And so a lot of people are like, yeah, but here's the thing. I use Fabric because I can update immediately, and that's nice. And Forge is kind of getting its butt kicked by Fabric at the moment because of that. And it's like, but there's this war going on between Fabric and Forge. And it needs to be dealt with. Like, there just needs to be an official method. That way the war can end, we can all be happy, and we can all just continue our modded lives, But instead, that's the thing that Minecraft seems to not care about adding, is a modding API. And so while I am excited for this cave update, because there are great things that it looks like that they're adding, until I see that they are actually good, I'm not going to be excited. And also, I'm sorry, but while it's true that we do it would be nice to have better caves. There's something a little more important to Minecraft than better caves. And that is having a modding system that everybody can just look at, go, this is how you do it, and that's that. Right now the modding scene is so bad. Like, I'm actually in contact with some developers of some very big mods from 1.12. And they've straight up told me they have no plans currently to update beyond 1.12 because something that Forge did in the newest update basically destroyed their entire mod. And I have talked about that before with ore spawn, where it's like, okay, but you're just going to have to learn. But at the same time, that becomes an issue when, because Forge does a massive rewrite, it's one thing if it's Minecraft itself, right? The issue with ore spawn that I've mentioned before, where Danger Zone didn't want to update to Minecraft 1.7, was because the 1.72 version of Minecraft did some things that caused issues with his mod. Mainly in the aspect of like the lighting engine and stuff like that. And I said, well, that's just something you're going to have to figure out, because that was a base component of Minecraft itself. It wasn't like it was a problem that Forge had created, But in this case, it is an issue that Forge created, not Minecraft, and I feel like that's a little bit different. Because that's something where the people at Forge can be like, hey, okay, so, we did this with our modding API, it didn't work, people didn't like it, we can fix that. Whereas with something in Minecraft, it's Mojang, they're not going to change that. So, I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just being dumb about this. Wait! Like, maybe I'm the one in the wrong about this, but that's just how I feel about it. It's like, we need... I think that's too close to the... Yep, it was too close. I was gonna say, pretty sure mushrooms usually just instant grow, so... I don't think they usually have... I don't think they usually have issues. And I'm out of bone meal. I was going to say no longer because of that skeleton, but nope. He didn't give me any. It's just... Don't get me wrong. If this cave update turns out to be awesome, I will be ecstatic. But I, as a Minecraft player, am currently not looking forward to it because of the aspect that I just don't know what they're going to do with it. A cave update sounds like an amazing thing on paper. It sounds like something that the game desperately needs. It sounds like something that we should all be excited is coming. But I'm not going to be excited until it has been proven to me that a cave update is something that can be done. And again, My biggest thing is I look at what has been said and I say, but what is the reason? What is the point? You know, what is it going to do? And as long as those are the questions, you know, as long as those are unanswered, I'm not going to be satisfied with a cave update. When those are answered, when the cave update comes out, and all of these things are revealed, and they're good, I will be excited. But I'm just concerned that the cave update is going to come out because people are so excited. And then all it's going to be is a couple of biomes that have been added. You know, some neat new looking blocks which make it look cool. But then nothing that actually adds substance. And as long as there's a chance that whatever is added isn't substance, it's just effect, I'm going to be skeptical and concerned. And as of so far, the only stuff that's been revealed about the cave update has been just that, effect, not substance. The telescope isn't substance because it's not something that we need. We don't really need a way to zoom in on things, you know? Like, would it be nice to be able to see out in the distance? Yes. But by the time I can see something out there and I go, hey, what's that? I'm probably wandering like this and I go, oh, hey, what's that? And I turn and go that way. You know? It's like a telescope isn't going to help me there. When they first announced the telescope, I was like, ooh, some kind of like astral sorcery thing. Because, you know, they announced the telescope, which, you know, my brain immediately thinks of as, you know, space. Looking up into the stars. And I was like, oh, you can zoom in. And it's one thing that this is a mod that lets me zoom in. It's another thing if I can zoom in like this, but all I get to see. Let me show you. Let me show you what you get to see. Let me show you. Okay, I'm going to show you what you get to see. That's what you get to see. Look at how much smaller I made that. That's the telescope in the 1.16. It's like, oh, I can see this tree. I zoom in. Now that's all I can see. And yes, I know that's way up in the corner of the screen. I'm not going to go fixing that. You know, look at how much of my inventory you can see. That's what the telescope is going to do. Versus, this is what I can see without it. And yes, it is modded, but look, I can still see. If the telescope were just a zoom in, that would be fine. If the telescope was an item that I had to craft, and then it was a shortcut key to then use the zoom in, that would be fine. You know, maybe it's a bubble or something. But we're already having inventory issues as is. Oh, well, bundles are going to fix that. Not with telescopes. Well, I'm going to carry a bundle that has my telescope in it. So, hey, there's that thing way out there. Let me open my inventory. Let me move something off my hotbar. Let me open this bundle. Okay, now I've opened that bundle. Let me grab the item out, put it here. Okay, now let me use it. Guess what? I could have just ran over there in that amount of time. You know, I am not excited for anything that was revealed. I'm sorry. I'm not. Because everything they revealed sounds great on paper, but nothing that they revealed actually, like, nothing they showed, nothing they revealed, showed any sense of them understanding what it is that they actually, you know, what it is that we're actually wanting. We don't want, oh, caves now have biomes. We want there to be a reason to go mining. And that reason for mining isn't, oh, I'm going down into the cave and I can look at the green walls. That's not a reason to mine. Oh, I can find copper, which has one use. That's not a reason to mine. So, like I said, if this update comes out and it's amazing, I will eat my words. 100%. I absolutely will. I will eat my words. I will be one of those people that proclaims to the heavens, I got it wrong. It was a great thing. I'm so happy this happened. You know. But if what we saw is what they're aiming for, it's not what a cave update needs. And that's what concerns me. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I have no idea if these are far enough apart that they'll all grow or not. Guess we'll find out. Simple as that. We'll just have to wait and find out. But anyway, that was my hour-and-a-half long rant on what Minecraft is currently doing versus what it needs to be doing, I guess. My viewpoints on the cave update and other things. It was definitely more than just my view on the cave update, that's for sure. I think I'm going to end here, though, now that we have the cacti. Next time, we will make our way towards that jungle. But now with the cacti, we can go in and we can finish getting all of the sheep that need some shade of green, like the cyan and the green. And then the cyan, the green, and one other, I think. Lime. Lime, cyan, and green. And after that, all we need is the brown sheep right there, which is the cocoa beans from the jungle. So, I really wish that this would turn into Podzol, but I don't know. I don't think Podzol spreads to dirt or anything. Hey, look, that one grew. That's a big tree. Okay, well, those two grew. I guess we'll have to wait and see if these couple in the corners will grow or not. I mean, it definitely made a lot of Podzols, so if I need to, I can always move the trees back over there and move the mushrooms over there. I just planted them here because they need the podzol to grow. Unless I want to actually fight with like creating a dark place and bone mealing and stuff like that. I didn't want to do that, so I just used the podzol mechanic to grow them. Now that I have podzol over here, I could easily, well, not easily, but I can cut down these trees and move them back over there if I need. Gotta find another place for another dark oak tree. Now that we have one. Just because, like, we need more dark oak saplings. More dark oak wood. We do need to find a savanna biome, which I bet is probably near that desert, considering they're both hot biomes. So I might, use our teleporting system to get over there, which would be great. Check around, see if I can find some acacia that way. Hopefully I get 4 dark oak saplings. I know that dark oak is similar to jungle in that it doesn't always drop all the saplings you need for more. So, but with that, thanks for listening to my rant on Cave update and how I am not excited for it. I hope that if you are excited for it, you didn't take anything I said as like a personal attack, because it definitely wasn't. It was just my thoughts, my opinions on why I don't think 1.17 Caves and Cliffs is going to be as amazing as people think. But again, I 100% will absolutely eat my words if 1.17 proves to be awesome. So, when we start getting snapshots, keep an eye out for my my response to myself in that case. Because I definitely will have something to say once the snapshots are out. So, and I think that's going to be it for Minecraft. There is still going to be more stream, so those who are here at the stream, feel free to stick around for a little while longer. But for those who are watching this over on the VOD on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. Check the video description down below for a link to the playlist. That way you can get caught up on any of the episodes you might have missed. And these are streamed live over at twitch.tv/SerenaInc. Feel free to come out, hang out with us, chat, and so on. And I know I'm still missing 1 sapling from that, and that's not going to grow without it. I'm hoping one of these 5 will drop it, but it's not looking too good. So this is why we need more trees, more saplings. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. See you later.